Greetings, beautiful people. This is Evan. I hope y'all are doing well. I am sharing a video today on how to make homemade almond milk. I won't be able to go through every single step by holding the camera, but I can at least explain what's going on here and do some of this. So, what we got here is some organic, non-GMO raw almonds. And I've been soaking these for, I think, a little bit more than 24 hours. You can either do like 12 hours overnight, 24. I've heard of people doing 48. I've actually done that too. And at first, I was actually putting these in the fridge and I was soaking them for 3 days. So, kind of, usually the longer you soak it, the more of a thicker kind of milk-like consistency you're going to get out of your almonds. And I personally love almond milk, but I wanted to learn how to make it homemade. And I'm also going to explain how you don't have to waste the almond pulp. You can actually use that once you've used this. This is called a nut milk bag. And you'll end up with the almond pulp after the whole process is complete. I'll just kind of run through what I'm doing here. So this has been soaking for about 24 hours. We're just gonna pour that out in there. And what I'm gonna do also is I'm gonna pour them back in there, and then add some more water just to rinse them. Now I could have done this straight up in the colander, but I'm just doing it this way this time. So you can see that the water is still pretty murky. So even after, you can just kind of rinsing them around, do that. So this is what a true raw almond looks like after it's been soaked. And one thing about almond milk that's very awesome is that it helps to build ohas, or virility, which in Ayurveda pertains to for female or for males, meaning that it's semen building. It builds semen, and you can almost, look, it kind of looks like a testicle, doesn't it? It kind of looks like a swollen testicle. And it's also very good for females. So any foods that build ohas, or sexual virility, or basically your creative force, these are fantastic for that. So that's almost why they call it nut milk, right? And it is a nut. So we're going to dump these out. Just kind of get the rest of the water out of there, because this colander likes to hold a little extra water at the bottom, so I just do this. So these, you can just see kind of what they look like. They're actually gigantic. So this is a little bit more than 1 cup of raw almonds. I just used the rest of what I had. It's about a little bit more than a cup. So what I'm planning on doing with these is I'm going to take half of these, throw them into my blender. In here, I'm going to put 3 cups of water into the blender. Some people swear by doing 2, some people swear by doing 4, depending on how much you want to get out of them. But it's kind of the difference between like a 2% milk consistency versus like a 1%, really. So if depending on the consistency, it can almost be like whole milk, really thick kind of consistency, and it's a very satisfying drink. I've always really liked almond milk, especially for people who's lactose intolerant. This is a great way to do that. So say I were to take half of these, throw those in the blender. You want to blend them for, I like blending them for like a minute or 2, just to really get everything super nice and broken down. And once that's done, I'll take this, I'll wash this first too, just to rinse it out with some kind of hot soapy water. And then I'll basically just hold this over like this and I'll open it, and then I'll slowly pour that mixture into the nut milk bag, and then you just pick it up and you squeeze really slowly at first, because if you squeeze fast, all of the liquid will go everywhere. So you want to do it nice and slow, just real like kind of like that, and just keep going and going and going. Once you think you got it all out, there's always going to be a little bit more. So I just get as much as possible. You go all the way to the top, and then all the way to the bottom, that type of thing. So you just go real slow, and then you'll be left with almond pulp in here. And so what you can do, you can store it in the fridge for a few days. It doesn't last very long in the fridge just because it's a raw product, but you can freeze it for a really long time. So plenty of recipes that you can use almond pulp with. I've made like homemade crackers out of them, although I was using vegetable oils to bake them with, so it wasn't totally ideal. They turned out pretty good, pretty tasty, but you can just use them straight up. Like a couple of tablespoons into, let's say, some steel cut oats, because I got some steel cut oatmeal in there on the slow cooker right now. You can put that straight into the oatmeal, put a little bit of honey, whatever on there, and I believe that as far as like nuts and beans and stuff like that goes, Ayurvedically, technically you can combine them, even though they are slightly different, although it might still be a good idea to take digestive enzymes. I have not found much issues combining different beans and different types of nuts with each other. That's just my experience. But yeah, you can do that with the almond pulp. And basically once you have that the almond milk in here, I'll pour it back into this here, and if you squeeze out like every single drop, you're gonna get the exact amount of water that you put in. And then I'll store that almond milk, I'll store it in one of these mason jars, which holds about 3 cups, and you can store that in the fridge for I'd say a good week without it starting to smell a little bit funny. And even if it does, I just personally recommend use it within a week. And it's generally used, or it's best to use it within like a couple days. And trust me, once you drink this, you probably won't be able to make it last that long. So it's one of those things, anything you really make homemade, especially from the heart, something like this, it's very difficult to make it last. So yeah, and I'll use the almond milk. Sometimes I'll just drink it straight up. Another thing you could do is you could add some cacao powder. Say like if you have like 2 cups of the almond milk, you could put 2 tablespoons of this. And for a sweetener, since it's going to be really bitter with just the cacao powder, if you want to use a sweetener, I like using xylitol. So I just use an equal amount of xylitol for the amount of cacao powder, and xylitol is a great sweetener. Low glycemic index, great sweetener. And that's not from corn, this is from hardwood trees, like birch trees. So then you got homemade chocolate almond milk, which is actually really fantastic. And you can use the almond milk with like a pea protein. This is the one that I'm using right now. I haven't actually used it for a little while. I was using it a bit more when I was working out quite a bit more. Lately, I just recently went through. I'm getting sober now, you guys. So pea protein is fantastic. Most people can digest it really well, and you can combine it with a lot of other different foods because it's a non-starchy vegetable when it's purely isolated like that, and it contains all your essential amino acids. So it's fantastic protein. It's a good, highly concentrated protein. Yeah, and I think that is about it for the video. Just wanted to share that. Just imagine the beautiful almond milk in there. Wish I could do it all on camera. I was thinking about making like a fancier video about it, but I figured I'd just make this just to make something if anybody was interested. And I've tried this with like roasted almonds, and it's not the same. The raw almonds are way better, and always recommended to use raw almonds. And I'm getting these 5 pound bags of raw almonds from Burroughs Farms. They're based in California, because really that's like where most of the almonds come from anyway, and they're a regenerative organic farm too. So, and they seemed really appreciative of the fact that, you know, I bought yet another bag, and that's on the way right now. So I'm gonna try to make the next bag last a bit longer. So yeah, that's the video. Until next time, hopefully this was cool, insightful, useful for you guys. Try making some homemade almond milk if you really enjoy almonds. Enjoy almond milk, and then you can also use the pulp afterwards for sprinkling over some oatmeal. Like I said, there's plenty of other things that you can use the almond pulp for, putting them in different types of other good food combination recipes. I'm sure that if you look into some Ayurvedic recipes on Joyful Belly, they have some ways that you can use the almond pulp. So until next time, y'all, shred onwards and so forth, and stay well.